Hi, this is Jeff from Studio Cycles and StudioCycles.com, and in this short YouTube video I want to talk to you about the difference between the Keiser M3 and the new revolutionary Keiser M3 Plus. The Keiser M3 is a bike that broke some ground 5-6 years ago. They came out with a belt-driven bike with wattage and with a little shift lever, and they've sold a lot of bikes. My understanding of Keiser, and this is only my personal opinion, Keiser's had 3 bikes. They had the Power Pacer, which was black. That was the bike that got them in the door with LA Fitness. Then they came out with, and that was a front wheel bike with the vertical handlebars. So when you raise the handlebars, the bike got longer. Then they came out with the gray and orange bike. I call that the Keiser Halloween bike, which if you've ever ridden the bike, I don't really have to say much about that. They did move the wheel to the back, and they did have the shift lever on that bike on the end of the handlebars, like a shift lever on a beach cruiser. Again, that bike had a handlebar that didn't go up and down. It actually went longer. It made the bike longer. And then they came out with the Keiser M3 5-6 years ago with the lightest flywheel of any bike. And my thing about flywheels is that I prefer a flywheel that has perimeter weighting, because most people who ride spin bikes, a good portion of them are not cyclists. They don't have a pedal stroke. And the lighter the flywheel, the more you provoke an up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down Stairmaster pedal stroke. And as you get older, that up, down pedal stroke is impactful. Even if you're not getting older, if you're upright with a pulse and you have a Stairmaster pedal stroke, it's not as beneficial as a fluid 360-degree pedal stroke. So the Keiser M3 has a very light flywheel. It is belt-driven. It's very quiet and very smooth. And I think people with a limited scope of comparison and knowledge, they're drawn to the belt-driven, non-perimeter weighted bikes like the Keisers and the Le Mans because they're quiet and smooth. But the thing that benefits people the most, in my experience as an instructor and a former professional cyclist, is perimeter weighting provokes aggressive inertia. And whether you like it or not, or even know it or not, you're developing a 360-degree pedal stroke right from the gate. Unfortunately, most of the mainstream popular perimeter-weighted flywheel bikes have chains. And since most of the bikes are built like furniture from IKEA, they get a bad rap, or if clubs don't take care of them, people think, particularly gym decision makers. You know, if you've had a room full of chain-driven bikes that weren't taken care of and were improperly maintained, or they were maintained by the guy who takes care of the light bulbs and the towel dispensers, I could see why you'd be drawn to a quiet, smooth, belt-driven bike. But in terms of biomechanics and benefits for the average mortal man or woman, perimeter weighting is it, in my humble opinion. So the Keiser M3 light flywheel belt drive, it does have perceived wattage, which means it'll give you wattage based on mathematics, or the angle of the magnet basket, or the perceived amount of wattage that you're exerting. It does have a shift lever with a cable that goes from the front of the bike to the back of the bike. The cables do stretch over time, so if you're in a room with 20 or 30 bikes, and you ride this bike over here and then that bike over there, chances are number 3 or number 6 or number 8 is going to be different on every bike you ride. Although Keiser does give out that the bikes are calibrated, you can calibrate them. But in my experience of 20 years in the bicycle industry, any cable will never stop stretching. And since most clubs are not proactive with their maintenance, the likelihood of your bike being calibrated to any exacting standard is fairly not a good chance of it. So the new Keiser M3 Plus, because the bike was a long bike from the M3, from the saddle to the handlebar was fairly long, and I've had videos up talking about petite women, and where petite women ride the bikes and they're out on the ends of the handlebars climbing, they end up arching their lower back, which is not, I don't think, a good thing for the lower back, to arch your lower back while you're hammering your legs and climbing or sprinting. combine that with non-aggressive inertia, it is what it is. But the new M3 Plus has a handlebar that goes forwards and backwards. And I had the chance to see the Keiser M3 Plus in Chicago. I live in Santa Monica, but Star Trek sent me to Chicago for Club Industry 6 weeks ago to supervise and fine-tune their 2012 new Spinner Blade and new Spinner NXT models. And I saw the Keiser M3 Plus. Say that fast 3 times. I saw the Keiser M3 Plus in the Keiser booth at Club Industry 2011 in Chicago at McCormick Place. And I got to tell you, if you're a club looking to replace your bikes, demand that you get a demo model of the Keiser M3 Plus, because you really need to try it for yourself. The handlebar is unlike any other handlebar I've ever seen. I've never seen a handlebar like that on a bicycle, or even anything remotely close to that. But the Keiser M3 Plus also has a light on the computer head unit. So when it goes dark, the computer screen lights up. So that's pretty revolutionary. But the handlebar, the fore and aft on the handlebars, combined with the fact that the head tube goes like this, the head tube on the Keiser handlebars goes diagonally at a 45-degree angle, where most handlebars go up and down, up and down. The Keiser handlebar stock goes diagonally like this. So if you pull the handlebars back, if you're a 5-footer or 5'2", and then you raise the handlebars, I just think that it's a really, really good idea to test the bike before you buy it. There's a lot of, and one other thing is that a lot of the online companies that sell the Keiser bikes, they're not real concerned about the margin, because they're basically just processing your credit card and giving an order to a distribution center. They have little or nothing to do with the bikes. So the new revolutionary Keiser M3, which is the Keiser M3 that they made 5 years ago, has a head unit with a backlight that comes on in the dark, and it has a handlebar that is unlike any handlebar I've ever seen or experienced in my life. If you're a club, demand a test bike, a demo bike. If you're a consumer looking to buy one, try one before you buy it. That's all I can. It's a great, smooth, very clean, sleek bike. I think Keiser does a great job. I think they're an outstanding company. And they sell a lot of bikes. But my advice to you is to test them and do due diligence and do comparative analysis. I'm Jeff Wimmer from Studio Cycles, and I have 3 telephone numbers. I'm the owner of the company. I ride and tune every single bike I sell. I have the only 2 indoor cycling brick-and-mortar retail stores in the world. You can reach me at 310-664-1375. You can reach me at 818-470-2204. Or you can reach me at 888-909-BIKE 7 days a week. From 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., generally speaking. It is January the 2nd, 2012. Happy New Year. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and best of luck to you on your road to health and fitness.